Is it possible to make CMS pages that stem from the same collection that do not share layout, or do they have to be the exact same layout? This was asked in Reddit. I have the link to the original post in the description if you'd like to read further. But in this video, I will show you how to create CMS pages with different layouts. My name is Eli, and this is Dynamic CMS Pages with Framer. I'm using a Framer template I designed. It has a CMS collection of projects, and its pages follow the same design, all with set styles. So let's go ahead and preview the first three. The overall general layout, you have your main section, you have some text, you get your first pair of media right here, broken up by text, and then the last pair of media. For the next project, you'll notice in the main section we've switched it up and now it's showing a video. But the rest of the CMS page is the same as the previous project. Lastly, we have returned back to a static image, but you'll notice that the first pair and the second pair of media are now stacked side by side. So all the CMS pages follow the same set design, but the use of components allow the development of different layouts. This is what I'm going to be recreating so that way you can see the design process. First, let's go ahead and take a sneak peek of the CMS. This is projects. This top half is all the text and the content. We're focused on the media itself. I have provided two different options for the first and the second pair of media, and they can be stacked side by side or top and bottom. And then you'll notice that for every section, you can set an image and you can set a video. Let's go ahead and return back to our page here. So I've already created the component, but we're going to go ahead and start from new. We'll keep this bottom one just for like visual reference, but this is the one that I'm going to be recreating. So I want to go ahead and create the container here for this section, and I'm going to call it dynamic stacking. Let's go ahead and fill it, and I'm going to go ahead and start adding the padding and the gap that I already have preset on some of the other sections as well. Let's get rid of this, and we're going to do top and bottom for now. So this is going to be my media container, because depending on what's set, I want to show either the video or the image. Let's go ahead and fill it. And then all of my media has a height of 700, but it also has a locked aspect ratio, because as the screen gets larger, I wanted to keep that ratio of the media. Okay, let's go ahead and bring in the video. This is the video component that I'm using. It's just a URL that you can set. Of course, you can use your other components if you like. I wanted to go ahead and take up the whole parent. So I'll anchor all sides. It's positioned absolute because we're going to have it layered on top, either the video or the image. So let's go ahead and set our URL here, video URL 1. And remember that this project does not have a video set. Okay, let's go ahead and add our image here. Same thing, it needs to take up the whole parent. Let's go ahead and set our variable here, and it's going to be image 1. Okay, now we want to show one or the other. So in this case, this is where we want to go ahead and play around with the visibility. So for the video, if the video is set, then I want it to render on the page. Same thing with the image. If the image is set, I want the image to render on the page. And right away you'll notice that for video URL 1, it is not set in the CMS. It is blank. So it's grayed out. That means the visibility is set to no based on the condition that we placed. The image, however, we do have that set on image 1. So this automatically results to yes. So this will be displayed. Now the interesting part about this is that there is no way to have a second condition. So because it's a template, like I mentioned, other users are going to have this. And what if the user accidentally or just wants to set both of them? Remember, my intention is to only have one appear, because it's not a very good idea to have a video appear and the image to be underneath it, and vice versa, due to optimization, SEO purposes, etc. So we want to make sure that only one gets rendered, even if they're both set. But we can only put one condition. So in this case, we can go ahead and wrap it, and we can do this, and this will act as a second layer of conditioning. So this one is visible if the video is set. This should be visible if the video is not set. Isn't set. So that way, no matter what, one or the other is going to appear. And then image can stay the same. So that's one way that you can go ahead and set almost two conditions. So this ensures that only one element is being displayed, and then image covers its own. So let's go ahead and get this styled in. Let's see if it's working here. Okay. Now, yes, I can duplicate this so I can bring the other one here, but it's probably better just to make its own component, because I'll have to duplicate here, and then remember I'm also making this one. So it's better just to create a component. I'm going to keep it as media, and I'm going to have it under the CMS right here. So that's where it appears. If you add the slash in the front, then you have a little bit more control of where it gets organized here. And then this keeps everything. So we have all the variables. We don't have to have one. We can just keep it as image and video URL. And then it'll handle the rest. Take that off. We don't need any color. And then let's go back here. Okay. So now we can duplicate the component itself. But for this component, we got to use number 2. So video URL is 2, and then we have image 2. And there we go. And because it's a component, it's already doing all the visibility. Now, there is a project where we have a video and image separate. So let's go ahead and jump over there, making sure that the proper element is being rendered. This is for cast line. And here we go. Preview. So here we have a video, and here we have the image itself. Okay, so now that we got that set up, I want to make sure that I'm locking my aspect ratio here, so I have the sizing that I have intended. Yep, there we go. It's keeping that ratio. Now we needed to flip it. So we can go ahead and go to the parent, and we want to assign the option. Remember, I have 2 options for the first pair to be side by side or top and bottom. So we can go ahead and do direction. Set the variable, and it's right here. Media stacking for 1 and 2. So the first and second media. So we can convert it. So side by side is going to be here. And you can add the condition for top and bottom, but that's kind of like what the fallback is for. So I'll leave that up, the decision for you. So if it's side by side, do this. If it's not side by side, the fallback would be top and bottom. Okay. Now let's go back to, it was this one right here. Okay. So we have the 2 images. And we have the side-by-side stacking, but we don't have the sizing that we had before. we do have the aspect ratio locked, but if I switch it back, okay, perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. You'll see that there's a problem when it comes to this. Especially if we go back to the first one. Look at that. I didn't lock this one. But that's kind of what you get. Like, for example, let's go ahead and go back to the... So then lock it. So this is the expectation right here. That's what I want. But going to the first project that we have, it's keeping the aspect ratio, so it's adjusting the height for us. This is not what I wanted. It always has to be 700. Now, at this point in time, Framer does not allow us to set conditioning for the sizes. So in this case, we are going to have to create another component. So that way we can switch between the two. So the dynamic stacking, we'll go ahead and do this. And I want to go ahead and organize into my CMS and create. So we'll do this like horizontal. And this is going to be the side by side. I want this to be 700 and then lock it. 700 and lock it. And then I'm going to make a variant for the vertical. So the top and bottom. Okay, so we can get rid of this one. And we can create an override here. And there we go. Maybe a little difficult to picture it without any media, but hovering over it can show us what we're going for. Okay, now because we made a component out of this, it already has our value set. So now the only thing that we have to determine is which variant are we going to show. And this is where we can use the stacking top and bottom side to side option that I have here. So media stacking for 1 and 2, convert it, side by side horizontal, vertical. There we go. And going over to this one, and it automatically already knows. Now in this case, to take it further, you'll notice that the gap and the padding are different from here and there. So in order to fix that, we need to add some more variables. And yes, an option would be to create more variants. For example, this would be for desktop, tablet, and mobile. And then you'll have to do vertical. You can do desktop vertical, tablet vertical, mobile vertical, or phone vertical. So you have 6 variants altogether. But it is cumbersome, but that is an option that you have. In this case, I'm just going to create a variable for gap and a variable for padding, and I'll leave it at that. So that way I can go ahead and return to my CMS page. And then from here, like for example, tablet, this is going to be a 32 padding. And then for my mobile, it goes down to 16, and I can adjust my gap on here as well. And that's how you're able to create components that's able to adapt and shift between layouts depending on the values in your CMS fields, and a little bit of finessing with the variants and the conditions. Now, if you like this template, I have a link for a live preview in the description. Also, please use the discount code if you decide to purchase. Now, in the future, I'll still be using the template for a few guides. We're going to go ahead and go into the journal. The journal is also a CMS, and I made a few tweaks so that way it feels more dynamic, just like before. Yes, it is the same as the layouts, but we take it a step further for doing this color shift on some of them. So you'll notice that sometimes they're light. This one, but there's also like a dark theme as well that you can choose, and I'll show you how to do the color shift, what are different ways, and how we can go ahead and take it further. So stay tuned for that. Make sure that you subscribe, like the video if it helped you out. Again, my name is Eli. This was with Framer. You guys have a good day.